Hello everyone, pardon any sounds from this fan, it is really hot up here, but anyway, let me not rant on about that. I decided that I'm going to go ahead and talk about lightsaber choices for people who want to get into spinning lightsabers and tricks and things like that. Now of course, when you first want to start off, do you have to get a lightsaber straight off the bat? Not really, you could just start off by, getting like a broom handle or anything like that, started out at least working on warm-ups and studying things online and YouTube videos, going over certain movesets and things like that. But this is for the people that aren't really too familiar with actually purchasing a custom lightsaber online. For there is a ton, and I mean a ton, of lightsaber companies out there producing great products, but it can be overwhelming for first-time buyers, and also there is the chance that you can run into scams. So the first thing I'm going to say about scams is, if it looks too good to be true, always back check on anything that you see on Facebook or anything like that, because you don't want your money taken away from you. I have seen plenty of scams on Facebook saying they have like awesome lightsabers for like $30, and the ones they show are obviously not the ones you're going to be getting, but I already have a few videos talking about that, so I'm not going to dwell too much on that. But I am basically going to go over a few things that you might want to consider when you want to purchase a lightsaber, mainly for the goal of either dueling or just saber tricks in general. So one thing that I am going to say for this part is basically try your best to avoid impulse buying, because you can see a lightsaber and you'd be like, okay, yeah, that's it right there, done, over with, I don't need to look anymore, purchase, buy. Then you finally get the saber and it's doesn't work for what you intended for it to work with. And for things like that, one of the main things that you should also avoid is control boxes, knobs, ridges, anything like that that might get in the way of saber tricks. Because a lot of these things do look nice, they do look awesome on sabers, but for the purpose of being able to spin the lightsaber around, a lot of these things can actually get in the way. So it might be best to go for something that doesn't really have those. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to get a very plain looking lightsaber that looks basically like a mag light. There are options that are very simple, very plain, but there are options out there that don't have any control boxes or any unnecessary knobs, but still look really nice. And there are some that might have maybe a control box that's maybe up towards the top near the emitter, where it's not really gonna be in the way or anything like that. Basically, the less knobs, the less control boxes that won't get in the main way of where your hands are gonna be will be the best option for spinning and things like that. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Another important thing to consider when trying to find a lightsaber for the purpose of dueling and spinning is to always look towards the description of the lightsaber and find the ones that have the best description describing how long the hilt is or how large or anything like that, so you can get better details. That way you can decide if you want to go with that particular saber. Either if you want something that's more of a one-handed saber, or something that lends itself more to like a hand and a half or a two-handed saber. That's something else you might want to consider. Another thing, if you are considering maybe you don't want to go with the standard single-bladed lightsaber, and you want to actually mess around with something maybe more like a double-bladed saber. For that, I would recommend maybe you shouldn't go with the full-length blades. I've been messing around with double-bladed lightsaber for like a long while, and I've been using the very standard length blades. And of course the thing with those is you have more blade that has a chance of hitting the ground, and it will pretty much kill the mood, and you'll keep hitting the ground or hitting yourself or anything like that. Now I'm saying for now, you should probably try to go for a shorter blade. That way you can work up the skill sets and get the body motions right for like hand movements, footwork, and things like that. and you can keep a more fluid flow going when you're doing your spinning and not have to worry about hitting the ground constantly and things like that. And eventually, you can actually go ahead and move yourself up to a more full length. Trust me, I love double-bladed sabers. I think they're very fun to spin around, but full length is something a lot to handle and will get away a lot. So that is something else that you should consider. A stunt saber, a saber that basically only has a very simple electronic option, is only having a light, no sound or anything flashy or anything like that, no color changing. It's just one LED, one color, and the thing about them is, since there's not that many, a bunch of all these bells and whistles, a lot of them are really cool and all that, but the main thing with stunt sabers, since there ain't so many other things on there, there's less chances of something going wrong with the electronics and something malfunctioning. Also, they tend to actually have a longer battery life, since they all have a bunch of things working off a single battery. So you can spend tons and tons of time actually like practicing your forms and things like that. Because I understand, I really like actually practicing with my saber on to kind of set the mood, and I have my music going, and it helps me get in that mindset of actually spinning the saber around and having fun, because that's the important thing. You need to have some fun when you're doing this, and that way you can actually work harder at it, and you want to go even harder to try to like improve your footwork, hand work, or anything like that. So going for more of a very standard stunt saber with just basically just a light in itself is a very good option, and also they do tend to be a cheaper option to begin with. And also, another cool thing is, since it only has one thing, a light, if that were to ever mess up, that would be a very quick thing to pretty much replace, and it's not going to be as expensive as like a saber that has like multiple color changing lights and sound effects and things like that. So I do recommend, when you want to get into lightsaber spinning and stuff like that, and you want light, just go for the basic light. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the last and final thing I would like to talk about. Alright, so now we get to the last point. And of course, this last point should be an obvious, well, duh, but this is something I just want to throw out there. And that is, when you find a couple sabers that you're looking at and consider getting, it is very important that you actually go ahead and take a look at the reviews on the saber. Make sure you're getting the best, or what you're looking for. There's tons of lightsaber videos, since it is a pretty big market, and there are so many great YouTubers out there who take a look at so many sabers from so different companies and things like that. So you have a lot of information out there, so that is a very good and positive thing. Well, everyone, hopefully this video gave you a few tips on picking out a lightsaber that will suit your needs. This video is mainly intended for people who never really purchased, or who are very, very new to custom lightsabers in general. But anyway, this is September for Jedi, signing off. Remember, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and may the Force be with you, always.
Nope. 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 Nope.